Anil, is my voice audible?
Yeah, Prasad, I can hear you.
Yes. So we will start.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll go through this quick high-level agenda where we will be going through. First is high-level overview of Industrial Copilot. Then two products I got a chance to research about their offering, what they are doing, and which is Siemens Industrial Copilot and Factory Talk Design Studio. And then we will conclude with the Q&A. So this will be high level outcomes from this today's session. Background, we will start with the background, how it started. Anatomy means we will cover the detailed architecture. As such, Siemens has not disclosed their architecture, neither Rockwell, about what technology drives the Copilot. But with one of the different Microsoft blog, I tried to compare that and came up with hypothesis. So we will again take a look on that and deep dive on the features. So, to start with, what is Industrial Copilot? As everyone knows, it is nothing but a generative AI tool designed to enhance the efficiency and productivity for the developers and the when I say developer, it could be PL automation domain developer, mechanical design developer, specifically designed for industrial environments, and it assist engineers operators by offering interactive UI within their native software, which is TI portal in this case, or Rockwell Design Studio. To start with, this is the architecture of Siemens of Microsoft Copilot 365. Now, many organizations have started offering Microsoft 365 Copilot for internal uses. So this is an official architecture from Microsoft. So it starts with like Microsoft Copilot is now embedded with all the apps. And if we see the flow 1 to 6, so starts with the user prompt where we actually type, for example, create a slide deck on Industry 4.0 or summarize this particular document. Then the Copilot then goes to the Microsoft Graph, which is the internal uh, graph system for the semantic index and pre-processing. And after that, the Copilot sends the modified information to the large language model, which is nothing but the Azure OpenAI. And then Copilot receives the response from LLM. And then the next is the post-processing phase, which is the grounding phase. And then last, this number 6, wherein the response goes to the user who has sent the query. So similarly, based on this, this is the Siemens architecture. Not Siemens, I would say, but any industrial Copilot architecture. So it starts with a user sending a query that, for example, generate a PLC code for first in, first out logic. Then the Copilot gathers the related information from the connected tools to that particular software, which can be an internal knowledge base. For example, it could be internal TI portal configuration, digital twin data, operational data. This is one of the example of RAG. So before asking the question to actual LLM, first the Copilot checks with the internal knowledge base whether the user queries responsible is available. And then this number 3 stage is the post processing, which is also called as a refinement, in which the original question is combined with the context retrieved from the internal knowledge base. And then the prompt is now enhanced, and the enhanced prompt is then sent to the Azure OpenAI, where the LLM sits. And then after that, we get the LLM's response, which from the LLM, and then again the response is sent to the internal knowledge base, which we call it as a post processing or refinement. And the last stage is the refined and validated response is again sent to the user through the AI interface. So this is a general industrial AI reference architecture. Neither Siemens nor Rockwell, nobody has published this, but based on the general hypothesis, this is something could be the behind. Maybe they will release their architecture down the line. But few things that we are very sure that yes, they are using Azure OpenAI model with all the current offering they have. So, which are the current two industrial co-pilots in the market right now? One is Siemens Industrial AI, and another is FT Design Studio by Rockwell. So, first of all, we will deep dive on the yes.
Sorry, your voice was cracking in between. Now it's clear. Yeah.
Okay. So first, we will take a deep dive on the Siemens Industrial Copilot. So basically, it aims to boost innovation and efficiency across design, manufacturing, and operational life cycle. So while researching on this, even my understanding earlier was limited to that this would be only beneficial for the PLC developer, but I was wrong. When I gone through the documentation, came across couple of use cases that Siemens is envisioning that where they want to deploy this across the entire manufacturing value stream. So three key features that they are claiming right now. One is the quick response to the questions in the context of TI portal engineering, which is one of the latest feature they have released. Second is ability to generate the SCL based codes, and then within one click, the same code gets deployed into the TI portal projects. Hello, Anish. Is my voice audible?
Yes, it is audible.
Yes. And then third is ability to integrate the basic HMI visualization within WinCC Unified. So for now, the current version of Copilot offers these three distinct features. Key advantage, as we already know, it aims to increase the developer's efficiency by reducing the development time for the S7 code or creating WinCC graphics. So Siemens Copilot across value chain. So this is something very interesting. This is something Siemens is envisioning right now. Not all the features of what you're seeing is currently active. Yes, TI portal related features are already live, but going forward, they plan to deploy the Copilot in these manufacturing value streams. So they have. I also got a chance to deep dive on each area. So for example, design. So in the design, wherever Siemens design software is being used, they will streamline the design. It will help to streamline the design process by assisting to the mechanical design engineers to generate the design concept based on the prompt that they provide. So one use case that we will take a look. For example, a mechanical designer who wants to reduce the weight of a component without sacrificing the strength. For that, then within the Siemens environment, the Copilot pop-up will come up where it will analyze the CAD data, simulation results, and then provide the optimal suggestions to the design engineer. And based on that, he can take the decision. This is not live yet, but this is something which will come up. Then in the planning phase also, wherein the Copilot will help to generate the different planning scenarios so that the optimal strategies can be worked out. So one use case is, for example, in an electronic assembly plant, let's say they have a sudden increase in the demand. So in that case, uh, once the once the we send the query to Copilot, it will be connected to already MES, ERP, and then it will gather the planning and scheduling related information, and then provide the suggestion that how the shift planning needs to be done, so that uh, the planning requirement can be met and the increased demand requirement can be met. Right now, it is more or less human dependent. We pull up spreadsheet. Sometimes the factory manager or the production manager takes the call based on his experience. But now the co-pilot will have access to all the information. For example, how much is the stock into the ERP, what is the current status of the machines. Let's say if there are some machines are under breakdown, then we may not be able to meet the demand. So with all the contextualized information, the Copilot will be able to provide the optimal planning. So obviously, this will help to meet the timelines. Then engineering, it is one of the interesting area that Siemens is planning to build the Copilot into. One of the example is, for example, in the automotive line, if there is a conveyor assembly line and we have a PLC code for the assembly line operation or conveyor operation. Generally, what happens right now, if there is any malfunction or if there is any bug in the code, if there is any bug in the code, generally the developer, he will spend his time into the debugging, and then eventually he will come to the results. But now with the Copilot will itself find out the conflicts in the logic. For example, generally we have seen if the one output is written twice, then generally the output will not turn on when it comes to Siemens. So now that kind of conflicts or any incorrect logic that which has been programmed, so Copilot will be able to analyze that and come up with the suggestions. Hello, Sujit. So Copilot across operations. So operations one of the area where Siemens is envisioning to uh, map the Copilot operations. So for example, leveraging the intelligence from the existing documentation and manuals. So one use case is, for example, a food and beverage manufacturer who is the Copilot to monitor the bottling plant or any process. So if there is any slight increase in the motor load, or if there is a potential failure, then it will try to analyze and trigger it. It will trigger the preventive maintenance alert, and then eventually it will help us to prevent the unplanned shutdown. Right now, machine learning. Right now, we deploy machine learning for that. But again, when there is a co-pilot, it will continuously run in the back end, and it will analyze the live information from the shop floor and provide the results. Service area, wherein the maintenance co-pilot. Now Siemens has a dedicated product for that, for which they have showed one video. I will just quickly play that video also, so that we can take a context. Can you see the video, Anish or Anil? Can you please confirm?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. So a virtual maintenance assistant powered by Gen AI with the knowledge of all your assets. So I will pause for a minute. So if you can see on the left hand side, this is the Siemens product, Sensi predictive maintenance, in which all the devices are collected and it is continuously analyzing the alarms, like the status of conveyor drive, status of belt, status of brakes, status of Fanuc robot. And on the right hand side, if you see, this is the Copilot window, which is nothing but the Siemens Industrial Copilot. So let me play the video again. So if you see these use cases, it is saying that I assist users in understanding the use cases raised by Siemens PDM application. Then where it can help explain the cases, interpret evidence, suggest causes. So one example they have given, like access to left deviation, then what can be the possible actions that maintenance needs to do, like inspect mechanical wear and tear, examine the control system, schedule the maintenance. So generally, when typically in the maintenance, they rely on the hard copy of the documentation, or sometimes they spend a lot of time in searching into the PDF files. So in the backend of this, it is nothing but an example of RAG, which we saw into the architecture. So it is directly speaking with the PDF file. Okay. So we understood about Siemens Industrial Copilot. Now there are some examples that we will take a look. So for example, if you see here, based on the request, for example, create a panel device with the name MTP 1200 basic in the project 2 and create a visualization template. So that's the prompt. And based on the prompt, the copilot will execute the action. So on the left hand side, what you're saying, these are all automated, clicks that are taking place in the back end. So it's not a human who is clicking. In the back end, all the clicks are taking place. So let me play this again. So for example, I will zoom it out so that you can see. So please create the login button in the center of screen under the logo. So on the left hand, if you see, it is automatically creating the login button and all. So as we are writing on this prompt on the right hand side, it is automatically creating the different buttons, different logos as per the prompt. Now TI version 19, like this particular feature is currently not available in India. It is currently available in US and Europe as per the Siemens official website. Soon it will be also launched in India, but right now when I tried to download, it did not allow me to download. But they have provided some videos that what are the options that can be done with the AI. One example is like create a S7 graph block with a particular sequence. So this is a documentation in which generally we get it from the designer that, for example, how the conveyor sequence should be, which is written into the text format. You just need to copy, bring it back to TI portal, paste and send, and it will create the sequence in the TI portal, or adding any steps or modifying any steps. So costing, how much it costs? So basically right now it costs $0. Right now Siemens is offering at no cost in specific countries. Future costing we are not aware, they have not clearly disclosed, but yeah, right now they're offering it no cost. That's the official screenshot from the Siemens website where they mentioned that right now there is no cost for that, and only TI portal version 19, with the TI version 19 only the Copilot access will be there. Yeah, so that's the note. When I tried to download, it mentioned that the current access to subscription is only available with a select number of customers in Europe and US. There are just some high level guidelines how to set up engineering Copilot and all. Like we need TI version 19 and higher with the TI portal openness. So we can skip this part. Uh, and these are some high level steps how to set up the Copilot. For example, first is going through the TI engineering subscription, creating the account, creating the subscription for individual user, and then we need to create an Microsoft Azure portal account and then link the same. We also need to create the deployment of GPT model, and then one GPT model can be used by 10 to 15 users. I didn't got a chance to go through hands-on because the software was unavailable, but these are just high-level steps to deploy the Copilot. So limitations, yes, this has a couple of limitations. So one is version 19 and higher, and also there are some limited testing has been done, at least for now. It is tested with GPT-4 Turbo with that particular version. So if there is some different GPT version we are trying, then it may not provide the required results. And also it is tested with the English and German language. So if any different language is used for prompting, it may not provide the required results. Load balancing has not been tested. And also, for example, currently, if you see with the chat GPT, if we write something, we get the response. If we close the window, if we come back, we can start the discussion from that point. But that's not possible with this version right now. Once the session is closed, we need to restart from the beginning. It has to be started always in the administrator mode. Internet connection failure, we need to always connect it with the internet if you want to use the Siemens Copilot. Now, this is very interesting that came across while going through the documentation. They clearly mentioned that there is no guarantee of for the correctness of generated SCL code. So what they encourage that you can ask couple of questions to Copilot, and then get the required code from out of it, and they always encourage to test it. Also, the Copilot, as far as the hardware catalog is concerned, there are some limited areas on which the model is trained. So their recommendation is, if it is not giving the required output, then you can close and reopen again or check manually. In WinCC also there are a couple of limitation. For example, WinCC Unified PC, for the particular model, these prompts are available. Rectangle, line, circle, text box on the second green color slide that you're seeing. Only these are the objects that can be created. And as far as documentation is concerned, the current documentation is only limited to TI version 19 documentation. That means they had trained the LLM for these data sets. As we move forward, they may come up with some more enhancement. So some basics about prompting. These are Siemens guidelines, how they want to use the Copilot. So once you start working with the Siemens Copilot and ask the question, so that particular window, they call it as a one session. So they encourage for a well-crafted, well-written prompt. So some of those guidelines they mentioned that we need to state the clear and specific queries, and instead of asking help me with this, we can ask a very specific question, which function block, which application, and provide the context as much as possible. So these are some of the guidelines how to improve the interaction with the engineering copilot. Like, because in ChatGPT's case, sometime with the limited prompt also we get the required result sometimes. But here in engineering copilot, we need to be as specific as possible as per the Siemens recommendation. So they always encourage to review the generated code for correctness. Also, if the co-pilot's initial response isn't exactly what we need, then they suggest for iteration and again review the generated code. Again, one example, I will play this video. So the query is, please create an SCL code containing for the block that generates the triangular signal. So you can see in a fraction of second, it will generate the code and also import into the blocks as well. So the code is now created. Now the next query is, let me zoom it. Now import the SCL block into the TI portal, specific PLC, specific area that you want to import. And within one click, it will import the same. Sorry. So it's now imported over here. Again, one more example of HMI. Like, the prompt is just create the login button and the login button is created, or move the location of that button. Other than within the Copilot itself, they have a one more area which is Ask Docu, which is nothing but the documentation prompt that we recently saw, that we can query with the Copilot for the TI version 19 documentation. So this is an example of documentation. You can ask the questions. So it will query and provide the required responses. So to summarize Siemens features, these are the four different improvements that they claim. Like we can simplify documentation in NLP, natural language, minimize the time for development, easy creation and guided visualization in WinCC, and improved efficiency. Now the next topic is Rockwell. Rockwell has a product offering called as a Factory Tech Design Studio. Again, all the features are same, so we will not repeat the same thing, but we will quickly jump how the UI looks like and what kind of features that they are offering. There are some distinct feature as compared to Siemens that we will take a look. So one is, the product name is Factory Talk Design Studio. So one example, on the right hand side, if you see, this is the Copilot window in which we can ask the questions. So create a logic to start a pump by pressing start button, and then it will create the code within this window, and then we can import. Yes, the code is now created. One more example is amending the logic, modifying the logic. So for example, explaining the particular code. If there is an existing logic written by some other developer, and if we want Copilot to explain us that logic, we just need to write the query that explain the logic written in CIP 200. It will come up with the detailed explanation. So what are the inputs, what are the outputs, what's the process in CIP 100 area? So it will come up with the detailed explanation. So these are the distinct features for the Factory Tech Design Studio. It is enabling with the new capabilities, the modern tech stack, productivity with generative AI, which is multi-user, which as per their website, they claim that multiple developers can collaborate into the same project, and one can monitor and approve the required project changes, and it's multi-controller, so it can connect with the multiple logics controller of the multiple versions. As we know, in Rockwell, sometime we have to change the installable version as per the hardware, but now with this, it's only one software and can be connected to multiple versions. So some of the use cases that Rockwell claims, again, something similar to Siemens. Now Rockwell had just launched this, just few months before. So on the top hand side that you are saying, that's something priority as per their website. That means it is currently being used, and the bottom boxes that you're seeing is in exploration area. So one is generate code in the natural language prompts, similar to Siemens. Explain the documentation, like explain the topic X, or give me the example of that particular logic that's possible, which is falls under the category of general Q&A. Creating the projects, create the project, create the smart objects, and explaining the particular function block. And exploration means some of the feature which may come up as we move forward. One is leveraging existing engineering artifacts like specification, drawings, and designs, and then testing the PLC code. A model built on array knowledge base, like Rockwell Automation's knowledge base, product manual, and training materials. The same example that we saw in Siemens. Then creating and configuration of multiple devices, creating library elements for standardization, and then analyzing the program for summarization and optimization. And this is also very interesting, analyzing the program or project to show the alignment with the targeted standard. So if we have developed a code and we want to check if it is aligned with a particular programming standard, that's also one of the possible feature that Rockwell may come up with. So use cases, similar guidance to the developers, ask questions about the project, ask questions about the devices, ask questions in the natural language prompts for the logic. IP protection point of view, so the data generated during all the process, it is never shared outside the outside the ecosystem of LLM, and it is never shared outside the Azure, OpenAI, or nor with any other customers. So future use cases, this was also very interesting for me. Query an online system with the Copilot. So that means, they want to use the Copilot for the real-time monitoring. Unlike the current situation is limited to the offline queries. So going forward, for example, we can also ask the question that, for example, is there is an analog input, what is the value currently coming from that analog input? So it could be air pressure or oil pressure. So that's the future use case that they come up with. Gather the feedback on the test script workflows, like simplifying the PLC verification by automating the test script generation and documentation. So sometime generating the document based out of PLC, it used to be a time consuming job, but FT Design Studio's next feature claims that the documentation will be created within one click. They also plan to offer a seamless experience by allowing users to interact with the voice command. Uh, all the prompts that we are writing going forward, it may also come up with based on the voice command. So that's the last slide. And now open for any questions, anything, or you want to repeat, we can go back to that slide also if you want. But these are the couple of findings, in last few days while I was preparing for this event. That's what, I came across. Any questions you have, Sujit, Anil?
Nothing specific, Prasad.
Yes. Okay. Sure.